You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is this on? Is it on?
Yeah.
It's on.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on the air. We're live on the podcast.
We're live? Oh my god, this is so great.
Welcome to another episode of 91 Reasons sub-series devoted to your favorite webcomic of all time, Andrew Hussey's insanely detailed, many thousands of pages, infuriating, looping on itself, retcon mess known as Homestuck. I am your host. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined by, as always, Mike Zabka, Ming Chen. Wait a minute, that's Comic Book Man. Wait, that's Comic Book Man. This is 91 Reasons. And who am I joined by?
Austin. Luna.
And we are here once again for your weekly dose of Homestuck goodness. And apparently, with the way you people have been running around the house going crazy, something insane happened on, what's it called?
Paradox Space.
Paradox Space, which is, we've described Paradox Space before. Paradox Space is like what?
It was created as a Homestuck side series to explain all the stories that didn't get wrapped when Homestuck was originally planned to end sometime in 2014. It would be canonical stories explaining side characters' backstories, stuff we didn't see. However, that isn't really what the comics happened.
No, now it's pretty much just fan comics that happen to have passed Hussey's glance before being posted.
The comics are kind of, they remind me of Octopimp comics.
It's falling into the same humor.
It's following the same humor as Octopimp. And recently we got one that opened up with the worst characterizations ever.
Yeah.
It was all the trolls in a teen summer AU camp, and they were all so horribly depicted, nothing like in the comic, the worst fandom stereotypes. And then it zoomed out and revealed that it was a fan fiction. Mm-hmm. And this entire comic is satire on the fact that the Paradox Space comics have been bad.
Yeah.
It's like they purposely said, let's make everyone horrible so that this one can be the payoff of satire. The news page is Dave complaining about Carcat's fan fiction. Mm-hmm. And he says, what does he start ranting about? About Beck,
about
what?
How Destiny's ruined their lives. They're stuck on this stupid meteor. Let's just both agree that Paradox Space sucks, okay?
He says that in canon. He says, let's just agree that Paradox Space sucks and be done with it. Mm-hmm. As an actual line. And then Carcat says, and make this panel exploitable? Oh no. And, oh my god, Carcat just broke the fourth wall.
Yeah. Just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. There goes
something you can do in Homestuck, because there's a physical fourth wall. And unless you're interacting with the physical fourth wall, you really don't break the fourth wall.
But this basically confirms my mega theory about the Ultimate
Riddle.
Riddle.
Talked about that a while ago.
Yeah.
The theory is...
Let's revisit it now that you've got more clues that it might be the actual. Go ahead.
Yeah. We did a whole episode on the Ultimate Riddle, and we discussed how the Ultimate Riddle is that it's just a webcomic. Bowman's songs he wrote about the Ultimate Riddle sing about the pumpkin tide and how everything is just a bunch of hype. Mm-hmm. And the music video is a kid's bedroom, and his computer screen is showing his bedroom with a computer showing his bedroom, and it's an infinite loop, showing that his life is the computer screen.
The Chain of Prospect music video, you mean?
Yeah, the Chain of Prospect one, not the Pumpkin Tide. Pumpkin Tide doesn't have a music video.
No, it's on the poster. It's on the wall in the music video. There's a poster for it.
Okay.
They didn't get a video itself.
Well, we talked about that, and we also discussed about how the comic is very meta, okay? Mm-hmm. And that the Ultimate Riddle would obviously be something meta-related. So the fact that the Ultimate Riddle is just a webcomic ties in perfectly. And the one thing about that, though, is that there's one character in Homestuck who has confirmed they know the Ultimate Riddle, and that's Carcat. Carcat said in Act 5 the Ultimate Riddle was completely unimportant and doesn't matter. But from what we can tell, it's everything. Mm-hmm. The Ultimate Riddle is the meaning of Homestuck.
Yes.
So basically, Carcat knows the meaning of Homestuck. And saying the Ultimate Riddle is just a webcomic is going to fall as to say that Carcat knows he's in a webcomic, which is insane.
Yeah.
But at the same time, somewhat accurate. Carcat has always been a really weird, shady character the moment after Jack knocked him out, after he got knocked out at the end of his game. Mm-hmm. And just for people who obviously aren't that familiar with Homestuck, When you beat your game, you know the ultimate riddle. It's your reward, the answer to the ultimate question of life. You're rewarded with
And
that.
when the game was over, Karkat was the only one who got to touch the doorknob. And something zapped into him or out of him. And
The
then
game
they got
ended,
cut off.
and he got the door to the new universe. Karkat touched the door and learned the ultimate riddle, and then he got cut off and knocked down. So he was the only one.
Long enough for him to count because the human world was created. So even though he didn't barely touch the doorknob, it still counted as winning.
He got the ultimate riddle
Yeah.
and was
But
knocked
he was the
out.
only one who won.
And when would he have figured out the ultimate riddle? Obviously, when he was knocked out, he would have found out, right?
Yeah. We don't know much after that.
All we know is that then Karkat Wake Up begins. Well, he's back to being his grumpy self. But then we get to the Karkat Jade chats that a lot of people forget about and skip over, people I've talked to at least. And I'm going to tell you right now, we read those chats. They are the most important chats of all of Homestuck.
Yeah, even though they get cut off by Doc Scratch.
They purposely get cut off by Doc
Yeah.
Scratch. Jade, after the whole generic fight with Karkat of him getting grumpy and Saudi, finally befriends him once he creates Jade Sprite and learns that Jade arguing with Jade Sprite is no different than Karkat arguing with his past selves. And then they finally decide if they band together, they can easily run through this game.
Yeah.
So he gets the fourth wall, and Karkat says that if she looks into the fourth wall, she will damage the integrity of reality more than a creature that turns imagination into pure void. And that's
Yeah.
directly quoting the comic.
Yes.
And there's some really, really weird phrasing. Remind you, at this point in the comic, if Jade actually did turn on the fourth wall, she'd be staring straight into the face of Andrew Hussey.
He was standing right there.
He was standing right there.
A few minutes later, he puts the cloak over it, so that doesn't happen.
Karkat knows that Hussey's behind there. And basically is telling Jade, if you turn that on and see the author of Homestuck, you're going to destroy the universe more than this creature that turns imagination into pure void. And here we are, like 3,000 pages later. What is that creature that turns imagination into pure void?
Well, we're not entirely sure. Some form of Lord English.
Some form of Lord English.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's
Whatever
the skeleton
his final
guy,
form is.
but it's
Whether
a
it be
form
the
of Lord
weird
English.
bratty teenager, or the buff skeleton guy, or the Jack possessed, or what. They're all named Lord English. We don't know.
Lord English in general, the idea of him is a
Yeah.
creature that turns pure imagination into pure void, nothingness. Because he can make things cease to exist from what we've seen. Each interpretation of English. We don't know which one this is referring to, or just Lord English in general. Karkat at this point now knows that he's in a webcomic, he says to Jade, and already knows about Lord English and who he is. But why? The ultimate riddle will be the only explanation. But how does him learning the ultimate riddle suddenly teach him all about Lord English?
We don't know.
How would he know somewhere out there that if you turn on that fourth wall and look at this guy named Andrew Hussey, you'll damage reality more than the Lord English, the villain of Homestuck himself, who hasn't even come into existence yet. He's only
Yeah.
Doc Scratch right now.
Well, he's always been here.
He's always been here, yeah.
Because if you're equating it to regular civilization, in the Bible, if I'm remembering my Bible correctly, they never describe what God looks like, because man is not supposed to know. But if I ask you, like, what does God look like? Well, how would you describe him?
Like a big toga and wings and a beard and
Yeah.
the whole get up.
The big gray beard.
The big gray
Zeus, Greek outfit.
Right,
Yeah.
which is what happened when the Christians took over and destroyed the religions of ancient Rome, and in order to segue smoothly and transition smoothly, they adopted the look of Zeus for the look of
They
God.
can reuse all the same statues.
Well,
and paintings and stuff.
no, it was
Right?
more. No, those statues remain Zeus. What it did, though, was it allowed people to calmly become Christians because it wasn't a huge change.
They were still the same guy. They're just changing.
It's just
things
slightly
up.
different.
They just make it a little different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little different. Like when they make a new Han Solo movie, he's just a little different. It's not Harrison Ford, and I didn't really compare Harrison Ford to God just now. But listen, man is not supposed to see the face of God. What happens in Raiders of the Lost Ark when man looks at God?
Dies.
They melt.
Yeah, what does Indy say? Don't look at it, Marion. Look away, because to look into the ark is to look into the face of God, and you are not worthy to look into the face of God. So if Karkat says, hey, through that little window is the face of God, you probably shouldn't look.
Yeah, I would agree there. How would Karkat know the face of God is behind that?
We don't know how he knows.
Because he got a hobo, and he held the hobo up to the window, and the guy melted like a candle. And after he cleaned it up, he said, look, that's a good safety tip, Egon. Don't look into the window. Don't cross the streams.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
But back linking to the paradox space, Carcat breaks the fourth wall yet again. It seems
He looks right at the viewer.
He looks at the viewer and says this line. He doesn't look at Dave and go, whoa, you shouldn't say paradox space sucks, that could damage reality. He looks at you, the viewer, and go, oh man, he shouldn't be saying this now, should he? You guys can think of this panel a different way. But I find it odd that whenever there's a fourth wall gag in Homestuck, where they break the fourth wall to the point where it's not in the comic where the fourth wall item gets broken, where a character actually looks at the viewer, or talks to the viewer, or completely breaks everything.
Yeah.
It's always Carcat rather than Hussey.
Yeah, or Caliborn.
Carcat or Caliborn.
Because Carcat and Caliborn have this weird duo thing. We're not waiting for the payoff still.
And I was reading through the Reddit comments in the new Paradox Space, and even they were saying Carcat was acting like Caliborn.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I will play as Carcat, I can get called for acting like Caliborn.
They're basically the same character.
They're almost the same character. And a lot of people forget that Carcat is as meta as Caliborn. And somehow knows, figured out this ultimate riddle from beating the game, and realizes that it's just a webcomic.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities between Carcat and Caliborn. They use the same symbol, the same text. They use the same text color. They both have the same blood color.
Now, Blade Eye Kindware, the Homestuck theorist we all love, the one that certainly did not drive Hussey's wife out of the Reddit, says that
she's back now. It's okay.
she is back now, which we could talk about later.
Yeah.
But he says that the reason Carcat and Caliborn are so similar is because Carcat's gonna ecto some crazy shenanigans together, right?
Yeah.
What is he gonna do?
He's gonna put Carcat, Jade, and Little Cal, and something somehow Saw related. I forgot how he tied that into it. I think just Little Cal works, and that's gonna create the first cherub.
That could work.
But it's too weird.
It's too weird.
Cherub's already confirmed not to be made by ectobiology. Calliope and Caliborn were just born.
Yeah.
Which is weird for a Homestuck character. They're one of
Just look at Hive Swap. Those guys don't look ectoed at all.
they do.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Joey looks like Bro and Mom.
The Antler
And
Troll.
the kid, her brother looks like Grandpa and Nana.
The Stride deal looks like if you get Dave and a troll together, that's what you get.
Yeah, Dave and Tavros had a little deer baby.
Oof.
We don't know.
But I don't think the cherubs would be alchemized at all. Could it be possible that the cherub race is born from the square matriarch that Roxy makes?
Maybe, but they come from a very distinct egg.
Yeah.
Roxy could poof that into existence, but it's more likely to be something that already exists. I say the lollipop is going to tie into how they're created.
Roxy cannot create the cherub existence, because cherub existence is Lord Inglis, and Lord Inglis cannot be created through a Deus Ex Machina.
No.
That was already shown in the comic.
Roxy's power was shown too late. It's got something from earlier, although I think it will be the lollipop.
Yeah.
Because Caliborn and Calliope setting the lollipop back in time to create themselves still fits the Homestuck you gave birth to yourself type of thing. Of John ectoing them all and Carcat ectoing them all. So Calliope and Calliope will send the thing back in time that will create them all.
And that would create the cherub race themselves.
Remember Zilly, Sahu, and Square Wave or whatever? It's still supposed to be important.
I think Hussey's long forgotten about them.
Look, they're with Club's Deuce.
What about Tiny Maplehoof?
Tiny
What about
Maplehoof.
Tiny Maplehoof, the most forgotten Homestuck character who will never get explained?
No, Tiny Maplehoof, the Zilly bots, the Guardians he's confirmed at Hive Swap is supposed to finally explain them.
That will.
People pointed out something that Reddit I didn't think about. The game takes place in the 90s. So while Bro's going to be little, Nana and Grandpa are going to be middle-aged.
Yeah.
They're going to look like they're going to be whole new characters if they show up. If they show up in a physical form, they're going to be entirely new appearances for them.
You just look like more grown-up Jake, like in between.
Yeah, it's weird. We never gotten an in-between look before.
Then we have like the full, complete Jake Inglis life cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Him and each stage of both. We can compare all the Jake Inglis bites and have like a evolution chart here.
Evolution of Jake. Oh, boy.
I hope this game's gonna be good.
He'll explain the long riddle of why do they grow up and lose features.
Hopefully, I just hope it goes into the Guardians, but like I hope it isn't a tiny Easter egg. I hope it is a side plot. Do you think it'll be the main plot? Will he link the main plot to
Judging
Homestuck?
from how they're going straight to Alternia. It may be the main plot of the second game.
Yeah.
But the first game, there'll just be hints here and there and background things and secret clickable things, that type of stuff.
I'm convinced Hussey's going to break his promise and connect it to Homestuck in the end.
Yeah, it's not even out yet, and he's already saying, remember how I said it wouldn't get to Homestuck? I kind of lied.
Yeah.
And this is what he can tell you before it's out. There's no official trailer yet, and this is what he can tell you of the plot.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's going to time more than you think. But he does want to keep it to the point where you could play the game without knowing Homestuck.
It'll be both.
He wants people to buy the game, then read Homestuck.
Well, look at Bioshock Infinite. It's the perfect example of that.
Perfect loop.
I would have said the perfect example is Prometheus.
Oh, that's
that
it.
works
Yeah.
too. You can watch that without Alien. You can watch them in either order, and one explains the other.
And it still works as a great Alien sequel or prequel
They
or whatever.
both work alone and in either order.
So that's probably what Hype Swap's going to be, right?
Yeah.
With the Guardians and all that.
The same way with the two Hive-Swap games themselves. He said
Yeah.
you can play them in either order, they're parallel. I'm getting a Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons vibe.
But this is really confusing because he had to make each game its own independent thing to the point where you don't have to understand Homestuck or the other game. He's making 3 big franchises here that he doesn't want connecting, but he also wants them all to connect.
This is just the start. He wouldn't put together a whole studio just to make 2 indie games and a year later be like, well, we're shutting down, everyone go home.
No, he's in it for the
It's
long
just gonna
run.
keep going. Because he doesn't have to do anything. It's going to get to the point where it'll say, written by Ryan North and Zachary Morrison, and then there's no Hussey on it at all. It's just his characters, like Paradox Maze.
At least Ryan North would write them all. You know he would.
Yeah.
He's writing the game.
Why isn't Ryan North in a Paradox Space yet?
He's probably got some 100-page thing they're saving. Zach's getting his big comic,
that
right?
100-page Dino Quest is coming up.
Yes.
Right after Teen Summer Romance.
Zach's writing Teen Summer Romance, right?
Yeah. He wrote it, and he did the first 10 pages and the last 5
And
pages.
it counts as canon almost. He writes the characters so
he writes
canonically.
it really well.
And he's Hussey's best friend,
Yeah.
so it's pretty much canon.
And these longer ones definitely went through Hussey's approval. Some of the one pages he probably just skimmed over.
What about that Christmas one?
We don't talk about the Christmas one. I mean, no sense.
I'm calling it right now. The Christmas one was purposely written bad, so that we could get this
one. Would be better.
Well, no. So this one satire can make sense. The entire joke is that Carcat's fanfiction is like the bad PXS comics, and then it opened up bad and told us. And that Dave says, let's just cancel Paradox Space as a whole. It's a whole joke on how bad the comics have been. Why? I don't know.
I'm wondering
But
what
it
the big
is.
twist at the end will be. How do you end a comic like this? The 50-pager.
We're like 3 pages through. How do you make
Yeah.
these 50 pages?
Well, it's
Were we
50
6 pages?
It's 51, which is an oddly specific number, being
Yeah,
51. There's that one extra page. That either means he wrote it and didn't account for the title page, or that means the last page is something special.
Yeah.
And that last page is going up on 413.
Yeah, it's gonna time perfectly. If they
So,
do a double update week.
If they do one double update week, which they didn't start today, so I'm guessing it's going to be next week.
And why wouldn't they? Come on.
Unless they do it the week of the 13th.
They could do
So
that.
the 13th is the last 2 pages.
Didn't somebody ask Waitzel on Reddit whether they were going to do this, and she acted all weird?
She said we're not allowed to talk about scheduling, sorry.
She would just say no if they
Yeah,
weren't going to do it.
Well, they just don't like... I don't know why they don't like talking about that. It's weird.
It's like the one time I talked about the whole Andrew Hussey Anime Expo deal, and Waitzel, instead of making a usable, jokey, witty comment, said, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, that was awfully
So
grim
problem,
there.
Caboose.
Problem Caboose. Waitzel has started its own mini fan adventure joke thing.
It's in the comments of one of the Reddit things. It's Problem Sleuth in the Old West. It's only a few commands in so far, but I think it's going to go good.
But she's like writing this whole thing. I'm telling you, you laugh now, but years and years and years ago, Andrew Hussey started a forum topic called Jailbreak, where he did a little forum adventure, and some guy said, pick up Pumpkin, and Andrew replied back joking, what Pumpkin? And now, like, here we are, 6 or 7 years later, and What Pumpkin is this multi-billion-dollar gaming company.
Yep.
So, you never know where Problem Caboose could go. Perhaps this is the next project after Hive Swap.
Yeah.
Problem
Plus
Sleuth
he's
in the Old
Man,
West.
it's too good. It's too good. I gotta write it now. What do you think? That was a topic on Reddit this week. What's after Homestuck?
Yeah.
That's what the topic it was in.
Jeff, what do you think's after Homestuck?
Jeff.
What do I think's after Homestuck?
You gotta call you Jeff.
Yeah. I would say that once he wraps up Homestuck, well, he'll be about 80. So the only thing after that will be Depends, rocking chairs, and episodes of Matlock. That's pretty much it. And by episodes of Matlock, I mean the kind that you swallow and you appear to be in them.
Wow.
I'm looking into the future. You're under this naive impression that he's going to finish Homestuck and then move on to something else, and we've already covered this. If he continues to get your money, why would he end it? Nobody ends things anymore.
He said one time, I am going to end the comic this August 26, 2012.
Yeah, and?
Nothing happened.
Exactly.
I think he said in 2010, too. August 2010, the comic will end. That was his projected idea when he first wrote it.
And it didn't end.
And he said he had a new original idea that was 10 times better than Homestuck.
Yeah.
Now,
he said Homestuck was a test if he could do Flash animation, and this next project is going to be the big one.
I'm calling it right now, considering he said that in about late 2009, that his little cult following was such a great idea, and he has this amazing idea. You know, it's just the trolls, right?
Maybe.
You know, it was just the trolls as their own Zodiac comic, and he just put him in Homestuck.
Yeah.
Just like the Midnight Crew and Wizardy Hobart.
Yeah, he also wanted Midnight Crew to have its own adventure. But
that didn't happen.
That never happened. He made the adventure within Homestuck, which grew more than he could have imagined. Imagine if he hadn't done that.
Yeah,
Homestuck wouldn't have had a plot.
Well, he wasn't even going to make... Before he decided I'm going to do a Midnight Crew adventure with Homestuck, he wasn't even going to make Homestuck. He was going to make a Midnight Crew beat-em-up, right?
Yeah, it was a side-scroller beat-em-up game because the commissions page characters were loved so much.
Yeah, and he said he needed generic goons, so he designed all the felt as generic goons to beat up in the game.
Generic goons?
And you know, the Innocent kind of looks like a beat 'em up with all the goons and all that, but it wasn't.
There was no Lord English. There was Lord. What was his name?
I don't remember.
It's some Japanese name. It's hard to pronounce. It's the guy it's named after the guy who was helping him program the game and who came up with the Midnight Crew characters.
And he had his own special logo and everything.
Yeah, he has this necklace with a cross on it, which is hidden in Homestuck a few times until last year.
Yeah.
The oil spill covered it up. It's not in the comic anymore.
That's gotta be intentional, I want to say.
I don't know. It was there, and now you can barely see it because most of it's covered by the oil spill.
Why would he purposely cover that up? What reason is there to do that?
It's still going to be important, maybe? It was in Minabound.
Yeah, it wasn't
in
Minabound.
chest. You find, what is it? The sign of someone unknown. This will never, description like this will never be important.
I thought you pick it up and you go, you got, what is this?
Yeah, it's some really weird, vague description.
Could that be the logo of Lord English?
Eventually, if they go the whole Caliborn's emo self-insert character is going to be Lord English.
He'll put on that pendant.
He'll put on that pendant.
With a giant cross
so
on
it.
it.
An upside-down cross on his neck. Be all cool. I don't know.
You think they'll go that well with Caliborn's OC?
I say Hussey already made that joke. He won't continue it.
I remember there was a Reddit theory a while back that we talked about on the show that Carcat was Caliborn's OC.
Yeah, it makes sense. This dark emo guy, the special blood color. He's the special troll. He's the awesome guy. He likes to yell at people.
Hey, it could explain why he's so meta.
Yeah.
And why he acts this way.
Mm-hmm. If he's Caliborn self-insert. But John proves that retcon doesn't work that way unless it's a loop, which it does work that way, which that doesn't make sense. I give up. The retcon loop doesn't make sense. Even John admitted in the comic it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the character admits it doesn't make any sense. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm as confused as ever.
He keeps retconning the comic, and we find out the retcon doesn't go through until the page is published. It's a meta retcon, meaning it's happening in real time in real life. But then John creates a loop where he appears and says, "Hi, I'm retconning you from a later panel." And then later on, he retcons that to happen. And John's like, wait, this isn't how my powers work. I can't do a loop. It doesn't happen until I do it, right? So why can I make a loop? And
there's no answer for that.
It can't. The only thing we can explain is it doesn't happen until it happens unless it's specifically a good loop, in which it's always happened, even though it hasn't happened yet.
Isn't that the plot of Looper? Like, they're called loopers because eventually they're going to, spoiler alert, they're going to kill themselves and close the loop.
Yeah.
So that they know exactly when they're going to die because they're the ones that killed themselves.
But that's like saying if Looper was, there are no loops, things happen as they happen, except at the end the last thing actually is a loop the whole time.
Yeah, but the one guy knows about it.
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
Which would make him in the loop. Oh, don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that.
Where is this all going with the retcon powers?
I don't know.
The thing John sticks his arm through is believed to be, I was talking about this last night on the Homestuck Gary's mod server, a plot hole.
Yeah, it's a literal plot hole.
It's a literal plot hole because Casey never aids during the sip.
Yeah. Hussey says, well, there's a plot hole. Casey didn't age. Then in the narration, well, there's bound to be one in this enormous thing. Well, why not waste it on something small? There we go. I don't have to worry about plot holes anymore.
He created a
And then 5 minutes
purposely
later,
created a plot hole.
Yeah, a few pages later, John sticks his hand in a hole in the comic. So those might be related. I don't know.
Lord English is after the plot holes, but why?
Apparently he's used it before. 'Cause
Yeah.
the Juju uses once to give him power and once to take it away.
But who's Lord English and Roddy be using it for power? That's the thing we're missing
I don't
here.
know.
What we're missing is everybody thinks Caliborn's going to pick up this plot hole and become the big buff
At
guy.
some point,
But-
a character deriving from Caliborn picks up that Juju and uses it to do something, to change something in the comic. And now that John's used it, he has the power to change that thing back.
It's not the big buff skull guy.
Maybe. We don't know.
He's a red herring. And he said that directly in canon.
Lord
He's the
English
red
has
herring.
always been here. That means Caliborn or someone derived from him got a hold of the retcon Juju and created one of the retcon loops to place himself at the beginning of the comic.
Oh.
And John, with his new retcon powers, can change that retcon back to the original state of Homestuck.
Okay.
Which we've never seen.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
The
sense.
greatest meta joke is if he turns Homestuck into a one-year little mini Hussey adventure with no Midnight Crew and no trolls. And it was just as Hussey envisioned it before he started writing it.
And that's
Because
Lord
that's
English.
all it was. Until Lord English changed something in the beginning that set off this giant
Mess.
mess that's never going to end.
And that's why the Midnight Crew exists. That's why the trolls exist. That's why
Yeah.
it doesn't make any
Hussey
sense.
didn't
That's why
write
it's
them.
fallen into this.
Hussey didn't write them. Caliborn went back and changed something which threw off Hussey's plan for the comic.
Yeah.
That'd be the best way Hussey can clean up this is why my comic went bad. See, it's not my fault for poor planning. It's just my character messed with me. It's, I'm awesome. I can write.
Yeah. The perfect cover
The
up.
perfect cover-up. Yeah, so, I don't know.
There's no
Let's
telling
wait
at
and
this
see.
point.
There's no telling. We have weird powers that have no explaining how they are used yet, and the comic's only got 1,000 pages.
And that
Although I have to say that if Caliborn did change something and be in the comic, he's been planning it all along, a good name for that thing he did, what was put there, would be Caliborn's masterpiece.
yeah.
And we're coming up in an act of the comic called Caliborn's Masterpiece, which Hussey says is the biggest plot twist in Homestuck history that's going to change the entire comic, and all the fans won't know how to deal with anything anymore.
To the point where I'm calling him right now, give him like 10,000 more pages of writing space somehow. Through some
Yeah.
convoluted creating more acts thing. I'm
Well,
calling it right now.
As far as we can tell, the numbers are going to reset. So we're about to hit Act 6, Intermission 1 again.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
We're going to go back because we rebooted the entire act. It's non-canon now.
But-
now with Vriska there, which is another dumb move.
Which doesn't make any sense either. Because by doing the whole retcon thing, we lose all character development ever.
Yeah.
There were no...
I'm saying the whole Vriska is back thing is going to last half an act.
yeah.
By the time Intermission 5 is over. No, Intermission 4 are we at? I lost track.
5, what
By
5?
the time that Caliborn's Masterpiece act is over, Vriska will be dead again. That retcon never happened.
All it did was ruin the
That
timeline.
won't last through the end of the comic.
Either A, John comes back and nobody knows who he is, or B, we continue through Homestuck with a timeline where nobody got any character development and we problems to overcome.
Yeah.
The Carcat Gamzee Seuss Pep never happened. Wills never became drunk. Trezzy never,
Yeah, John has
Never-
to realize this was a bad decision and change it back, or Caliborn has to, you know what? Forget the act system. Forget you, Hussey. I'm
Yeah.
taking full control of the comic.
Trezzy never got upset by Latula in the Dream Bubbles.
The next page is just going to be him, Caliborn, and the Vriska flashes on his screen. He's like, no, this is a terrible idea. You've ruined all their character development. I can write a better story than you. Here is my story, Hussey.
And then
Begin Act 1, Chapter 1, Learning and Suburban.
And then he
by
begins.
Caliborn.
He begins his rewrite of Homestuck that he's done through retconning.
Yeah, which he's already done, which is called Homosuck, but we're not sure if that... he thinks he can do better now, I think.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
would
gonna
restart
reboot
it.
that.
And instead of rebooting it, he would literally reset the Homestuck canon.
Yeah.
And my guess is there would be like 1 or 2 characters outside of it that has to stop him.
I think Hussey pulled the Homosuck gag too early.
Yeah.
Caliborn need to become more of a better artist. And now he's going to do it and be much better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll continue where he left off. Maybe we'll get Homosuck Act 4 next.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If this does happen, wouldn't it make sense for there to be 1 or 2 characters outside of it because something has to stop him from creating a new comic?
Yeah.
That would also fit into the whole Take On Me thing we talked about, that a character would leave canon. And I actually was talking about this in the Gary's Mod Show I was in the other night, the Take On Me thing. And we realized something really neat. We don't know if this is on purpose, but it could be. It's just a fun little goof thing. The name of the band that made Take On Me is called Aha. Andrew Husse's signature laugh that he does when he's controlling all the characters behind him is Aha.
Yeah.
That's a constant laugh in Homestuck that's repeated by meta characters.
And Caliborn goes, ha 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 ha. Because ha 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 is AH, Andrew Hussey. And ha 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 is AH backwards because Caliborn's the anti-Hussey.
Who likes to mess with him?
Yeah.
You gotta go like from the oh, you know, because a lot of people they don't do the laugh, and you know that's about standards.
Well, you gotta have an evil laugh.
Oh.
Do you think that's intentional or not?
Yes, it's intentional.
Everything's intentional at Homestuck.
Yeah.
Or he makes it seem like it was intentional.
Lou Kind.
Lou Kind.
You should talk about that.
Yeah, he did a super update where instead of looking, he said Lou Kind. And I said, is it called Lou Kind because blank kind is a weapon in Homestuck? So Lou Kind can be meaning using a toilet as a weapon? And he said, let's agree that was intentional.
I meant to do that.
That's the only time Andrew Hussey has applied to one of your tweets, and it's not been angry at some trolling account that they blocked you on.
He actually talked to me on my normal account. Weird.
Do you think he knows that this is the guy who's messed with him on all these alt accounts?
No.
Does he know?
I think he finally figured out that Gamtab for Life and Marlon B. Rando are the same person, so he's getting there.
He's slowly getting onto it. He's like the conspiracy kid from Hive Swap.
He's got to find Factstuck next, which I still need to work on and fix because it's down right now.
Do you think Hussey's read Factstuck with how similar it is to Hive Swap?
I think we just think alike. We make a lot of the same jokes, but it's all coincidence jokes.
It can't possibly be.
There hasn't been anything blatant. We make the same visual callbacks around the same time, and we make some of the same meta jokes and fandom
I
jokes.
think that's because both you guys are trying to make a parody of a fan adventure.
Yeah.
By using fan events
A
as
lot of the
stereotypes.
Hive Swap characters look like my characters, but that's just because who else would you do? That's when you think of how can I make fun of bad fandom-made characters. You break up John with Black Dave hair, and
It's the most common thing ever. There must be at least 1,000
you
Johns.
do a fake heiress who's gonna plot twist to be a non-heiress, and you do a
Okay, I'm gonna
trolls
say this
based
right
around
now.
Acting.
I'm gonna say this right now. Can we all be 100% sold that Ernest has a fake blood color and that's her gimmick?
I'm assuming.
See, he's not actually,
She's probably a low blood disguise.
she's
That's
not of
what
the
I would
Pisces
do.
family, is she? That's not gonna get away with it.
It's weird because she's not ectode. She'd be a biological daughter of the Condis.
I think she's fake. She's faking this whole thing.
I don't know.
Moving on to another topic. Do you want to talk about what you've been doing lately?
I've been doing with the Gmod.
Yes.
My map's almost complete. I'm making the meteor based on Carcat Wake Up as a Gary's Mod map. I'm making all the custom models now. I got the basic layout done.
You need Easter eggs to hide around the
Yeah, I
map.
need some Easter eggs. I can make all the computer screens flash to an image. I need to think of an image to put on
I remember
there.
we were sitting around and we were like, what's the most shocking, funniest Homestuck
Yeah.
image we can put on every computer screen?
Like,
And we
imagine you hit a button across the level. You go back to the main room, and every computer has, Andrew Hussey, Shrek, Baby Fawn Legs. I don't know. I'll think of something. I thought of making it all Flash Lord English colors, but I don't want to have anyone have a seizure while playing my level.
Yeah, it'd have to have like an ellipse wanting the loading screen.
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy.
Ellipses the little Finnish crumbs.
Oh, okay. Finnish crumbs. I'm so. Do you think anybody remembers Finnish crumbs?
Kanaya does.
Kanaya does. What happened to Kanaya using goofy grammar phrases? Like, what happened to that?
She does, all the time. She just hasn't showed up in years.
I know.
The last time she showed up was Jade's Forest, and she made one. She did the little surprise noodle.
Yeah, but that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that was the last time Kanaya's canonically showed up.
Well, just look at Fefui.
Pfeffery.
Hussey admit he wrote Fefui off.
Yeah.
Mina was a replacement to Fefui. And a lot of people argue that Fefui is thrown under the bus because he's a powerful character and a good character. And Andrew Hussey admits that Fefui was poorly written and Mina was made as a replacement for all Pisces people who got stuck with Fefui as a terrible troller. I mean, Hussey's like, do you think he'll ever go back and write Fefui as a better character? Still get some development or no?
Pfeffery.
That's
I'm
it.
an alien.
Yeah, just read
Glove, glove.
just look at the new Paradox-based comic that even basses on it more. Nobody's gonna get that reference.
Some people will.
Some
Be
people.
surprised.
Last night we were just quoting that.
Yeah.
It was odd because I was in a heavy discussion about the Ultimate Whittle, and we were talking about what the meaning of Homestuck is. And there was a person who has never seen Homestuck, but they've seen all of Miraculous's videos on YouTube. So they were just quoting those videos as we went on about the
Yeah.
meaning of life.
Or where Dad walks in with them on the computer. It's priceless. It's priceless.
It's animated so smoothly. But back to the Ultimate Whittle thing. How long do you think it will be before an explanation on that is somewhat given?
The last page.
The last page, right?
It's the only way to do it.
What about the fact of Cockhead being Maida? When is that going to get its payoff?
Calborn's masterpiece.
Okay.
That's supposed to be the payoff for all Maidenness.
Yeah.
So that the final battle and the epilogue aren't weighted down from the, oh, when's the big Maida thing gonna happen? So forget all the sad stuff. Forget what's gonna happen to the characters. Just get you the big Maida payoff. No, he's gonna do that in the Caliborn masterpiece.
Well-
so that the ending can be emotional.
I feel like you can make something Maida and emotional at the same time. I feel like it's going to be both.
We'll see.
It's going to be both.
The skeleton of Sad Stuck Future came back and warned us about the bus careening off the cliff.
Yeah, we just got to take like a 3-month hiatus.
Yeah. The Homestuck isn't over until we see a literal bus careening off the cliff, because the way Hussey hides spoilers and metaphors, there's going to be some sort of bus going off some sort of cliff that will be sad
Wait,
stuff.
sounds like Teen Some Romance. Wait a second. Perhaps like a school bus
Their
is
school bus going to go off a cliff
A
and
waddie-
kill them all.
Ghost of Addie is going to like throw it off a cliff.
That's too much like the Ghost Damara comic.
Yeah.
We already did the, oh, it's dark and gritty because the characters are dead.
I don't know why that Damara comic had a warning before it.
Because that was back when they still wanted to be family friendly.
Okay. That lasted like a week.
It wasn't until, what? What was the first inappropriate comic?
Like even the one with Aerodan and Whiska, the hover text says we like having Whiska cuss because he can do it because Quark hides the cussing and bleeps it out.
Now they don't care anymore.
Now they don't care.
They gave up.
What one did they give up at? I'm sure you can track it down.
Museum was a
Museum,
big one. The Country Mouse one.
Yep.
There's a few
I think it was the
others.
Country Mouse one that I finally realized they've ditched the whole family-friendly one.
Yeah,
And
that one was earlier, though.
And it's kind of disappointing they did that because after that we got like 6 months of bad comics on purpose because that Teen Summer Romance payoff thing. And it's also kind of disappointing because it means Boom's not going to publish it.
Yeah.
Like we knew they were secretly doing.
No, it looks like whatever publisher they had lined up, probably Boom, dropped them. So they made it not. They said it doesn't have to be family friendly anymore.
It's not going to go in
If we
comic
publish
shops.
it, it's going to be self-published.
Yeah. Do you think we could get Paradox Space published in book form?
No, too many signatures involved.
Too many
Oh,
outside
yeah.
artists.
Because those inkers, those colorists.
Unless it's like the calendars and the prints, where one signature and you give us your art for everything.
That wouldn't be very smart. So let me ask you a question. Do you think now that the Lich has been turned into a child, that the dynamics of the story will change?
Oh, boy.
Time's gone so downhill.
I know.
Nothing happens.
The show
You turn
has
it on,
died.
It's like 11 minutes of Jake dances, Finn says something stupid.
And then, are you ready to top it all off?
Uh-huh.
They eat
They eat
sandwiches.
sandwiches. And that's about 10 seconds. The other 11 minutes are some other oddball character guest starring and doing some wacky adventure.
Yeah, Finn and Jake.
Finn and Jake aren't on it anymore.
Episode begins, 3 minutes of Finn and Jake doing weird stuff for no reason. Cut to random character on weird wacky adventure.
Yep.
James Baxter.
Adventure Time has gotten so downhill. Like, imagine if I'd never discovered Homestuck and just kept watching Adventure Time. Like, what would I
The
talk
big
about?
Adventure Time miniseries is coming up. They're gonna reveal the Bubblegum and the Marceline
I-
and the regular show movie's coming.
I have no hopes because the series hasn't had a good episode in a long time.
Come on, you're like a normal kid. You don't need a Homestuck. All you need is that new Flintstones wrestling crossover that's coming.
That's a real thing, by the way. It was just announced. This is a big budget Warner Brother animated movie they're gonna make.
Yeah,
Of
Flintstones
meets WWE.
WWE. It's gonna be so good. Like that's we're gonna have to make all these theories about it.
Sometimes I'm
World
so
without Homestuck is not pretty.
I'm so happy I'm into these weird niche fandoms like Homestuck and Night Vale and Gravity Falls. And Gravity Falls, as mainstream as it is, has a really weird cult following. You have to go to all these weird websites.
Literal cult following.
It is a literal cult following. But I'm happy that I'm not in these mainstream fandoms, and I'm disappointed that Adventure Time fell into it. I'm scared that Gravity Falls was going to fall to merchandising, but it seems they won't be distributing the merchandise.
No. All I wanted was the figures.
Yeah.
Like, you guys can hold on to your t-shirts and your hats. You don't need to overdo it. But give us the figures. I found the book. That's good.
Even Homestuck, I just want the figures.
I gotta find the journal now.
You can agree there, right?
Yeah.
Homestuck, you just want the
I
figures?
just want the Homestuck. And with the rest. They've been teasing the trolls since last summer. During the Gigapause, they said that the trolls might be coming for new figures, and they never released anything.
I want Funko.
I'm sure Hussey's got an entire line on his desk of every figure you can imagine.
Can Funko please get the license?
He's got his Friska figure up on a mantle next to his Doc Scratch figure.
Oh, what? Yo, we love fine.
Yeah, I thought we'd talk about the new products.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one new pants.
All right. Describe what this is.
All right, these are women's Aerodance leggings. They are Aerodance pants from the comic, but instead of being his heavy army trousers that he runs around in from the Altonian Navy, they are printed on leggings with a big zodiac on your hip. This was on Reddit, and people got so angry at this.
Because they finally make a costume piece for a male character, and they market it as a woman's costume piece.
And a lot of people are disappointed because they're males and want to wear Homestuck, and all they have is t-shirts to wear.
We Love Fine, it's not their fault for the gender stuff. They ship it all from Mighty Fine, who gets it all from American Apparel, so they don't get to choose a lot of stuff. They get their sheet of, we have these types of pants in stock right now, and Mighty Fine's like, we can afford these styles. Print what you can on these.
Every now and then you'll get the Trezzy Scalemate hoodie, which is a
every
special
now and then
product.
they get a special product.
And you can tell, because that Scalemate hoodie's based off Namco High, that thing has been in production for so long.
Yeah, it's taken a while. The horns got by because they figured, we can reuse these. And they already have Dodo horns out, and I'm sure they'll have My Little Pony ones out eventually. And then the hats, they have those same hat in every fandom now.
Yeah.
They're like, we want an Epida hat. Okay, but you sign off for every fandom. You need to use these hats for everything.
Yeah.
You gotta have those Dota hats.
They buy one thing and they turn into 1,000 different
They
things.
make a scarf, they gotta have 20 scarves. They can't let a template go to waste.
Oh, and one thing two things I have to point out about Wheel of Fine. Number one, if you go back, you'll notice they've put unisex on a lot of their products because they know people have been getting that type of feedback.
They fixed a lot of the older ones.
They did. They put unisex on a lot of them because I know people were yelling about the men's Tuezi boxers.
Yeah.
And the men's Tuezi hoodie, and now the women's Aerodan pants.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Wheel of Fine's fault. That's what the company gives them to. They don't know what Homestuck is.
Hussey designed the costumes, and We Love Fine's like, the only way to make that costume is on this template.
Yeah. I'm so if they didn't have to follow the templates, it would just be unisex Aerodan pants. Unisex, just everything. Just look like the comic. But it has to be through the templates.
Funny thing about the Aerodan pants is you get the entire Aerodan, or at least what's left of him.
Oh, that's mean. And it looks like from what we've been trying, because what they've been hinting at, is they're trying to get a template for a sweater and a tank top they can turn to Equius, Fefui, Carcat, and Aerodan
Yeah,
outfits.
because they all have special shirts they've never made before. There's no way to get a Canon, Aerodan, or Equius shirt.
Well, think about this. There's no way to own Carcat's t-shirt.
No.
That is something really shocking. The one from Topatico is
main
not the
character's
one.
T-shirt, you can't own it. They've never made it. They've made short sleeve shirts, they've made hoodies, but they've never made an actual long sleeve
And
Carcat.
with how well the Topatico ones that aren't even that canon or good looking have sold, I'm so We Love Fine is like, we need to get those Carcat t-shirts out.
Yeah.
We can make so much money off of this.
The next Homestuck date is 3/11, so hopefully we get some merch then.
Some
But
Aerodan
we should have
theme-
waited on the Aerodan pants.
Yeah, you could have been
His
fit Moss
birthday's coming
Aerodan.
Have you ever seen that Breaking Bad realistic mask?
Yes, those are creepy.
Would you like one of Hussey to wear?
Yes.
Yes, oh
wear that?
yes, that'd be so perfect.
A fully realistic vinyl Hussey mask that you can't differentiate from reality.
Yes.
Why don't you make a shirt with his face on it or something?
Oh God.
Can you go to Cafe Press and make that, or at the checkout does it go, copyright violation?
One other
In
thing
Ryan Quest, he's got a Hussey shirt.
Yeah, you can't sell those. They can sell those in Wheel of
They don't
Fine.
sell those, no.
I was actually looking through Wheel of Fine, and this is something really interesting. They sold out of a product they've been sold out of for weeks now.
Which one?
To the point where it's gone from the website. You cannot buy the Gamzee pants anymore.
No, the Gamzee pants are gone. They've so ran out of stock, they can't even order more for such a long time. They've taken it out of the store. I can't find it on there.
They're only on What Pumpkin for like $5 more
Yeah.
plus higher shipping.
Wet Pumpkin has some stock, but for West Coasters, it's more expensive than We Love Fine.
If you go to a con, you might get lucky.
Yeah.
And I find it odd. Like, those pants sold so well. How did the Gamzee pants become the best-selling product? How did that happen?
Because you can't make them.
Yeah.
A lot of Homestuck items you can easily make because they're so simple. Gamzee pants are hard to make.
Also, scrolling through Wheel of Fine, there was one thing I noticed, and finally why I'm kind of upset with what they have currently. They have the really cool Prosper Indoors hoodies and some amazing T-shirts and horns, but the 95% of cosplay products that they're making, which are really nice looking, is all Trezzy and Whisker.
Yep.
There's a Trezzy Scalmate t-shirt, a Trezzy horns, a Trezzy beanie, a Trezzy hoodie, a Whisker sort, a Whisker dress, Whisker horns.
A little bit more. There's some of Jade's and Naradia's dresses, and they did a few Dave items.
Yeah.
They try to do some weird ones, like Gamzee pants and Eridan pants. But whenever they save up and say, we're going to make a special template and make this unique hoodie with all the special branding, it's always Trezzy or Vriska or some of the main characters.
They're the only ones with unique, different outfits.
Yeah.
And of course, once again, when they made that Vriska arm outfit, they're like, make a Radia bot, make Jade bot, you got to use that template.
Brobot.
They really want to get that template used.
Yeah. We're still missing some crucial outfits. We only have half the horns. They haven't made any of the... not very much of the kids, other than the few T-shirts at the beginning.
I want some Callie
But
horns.
you want full Brobot cosplay? They got it.
I want Callie horns, because they're canonically what she wears.
Yeah, no, they're halfway through the regular trolls. They gotta get all the way through, and then make Callie, and then make the... Hive Swap and Alpha Trolls.
Yep. What makes Alpha Trolls different than Horse?
Horse has more. I think Rufios are bigger. I'm trying to think. I think Latulas are pointier.
The slightest difference to make more.
Yeah, they can make another $15 off you if they do it.
Look, more Pywell merchandise. They gotta get that themselves. Socked, they had to not have a Latula $100 jumpsuit. And, you know, Wheel of Fine recently has been making these $50 professional Ghostbusters jumpsuits. Could we please get Dave Sprite and Jade ones and John ones of the MMO? Or at least patches that have the names on them. That's such a cool product idea. How about patches of the Ghostbuster names, but with the character names from the MMO, so you can sew them on?
Egbert and Dave Sprite.
Yeah.
Is this a Dave Sprite or Strider? They don't show it canonically, I guess.
Looking at looking at the newest Wheel of Fine stuff right now, it seems they just came out with a bunch of more leggings, and Eridan was just one of the brands they had.
Yeah.
Like, they have LSP leggings, they have Eridan leggings, I think they have new Dota leggings if you go on the next page there.
Yeah.
So it seems they just came out with a big legging release, and Homestuck is one of its brands. Homestuck's now next to Dota and Adventure Time.
What are the next Homestuck products we need to make out? Make
Oh my.
Carcat moment.
That is such a Carcat moment. Maybe it's not what you make out with yourself to be.
Instead, they sit down and see what licenses need leggings right now.
Yep. Like those more My Little Pony leggings.
Think of Eridan. Oh boy.
Oh no, those are Star Trek leggings. Where's Hussey?
Oh my god. Hussey's freaking out somewhere. Gotta get some of the Star Trek leggings.
Next Generation leggings? Oh my god.
Oh yes, they're
Next Gen.
Next Gen. Hussey's crying somewhere. But they don't. He needs those and some Transformers and some horses, and he's good to go.
I don't think Wheel of Fine has Transformers, unfortunately. Do they? If so, they haven't made stuff in years.
Tisk tisk.
Come on, Wheel of Fine.
Hussey's shaking his head. IPGD's crying. None of those sexy Transformers.
Transformers are the new horses, by the way, if anyone doesn't know that.
Yeah, that's all he talks about on Twitter anymore.
He doesn't talk about horses, just Transformers. Transformers and how sexy they are.
Horses are so gigapaws.
I know.
There's still about Transformers now.
Transformers are now in. They're the cool new thing for Hussey. And apparently there's a Transformer that looks like Gamzee he goes on and on about.
Yeah.
Well, you guys had big news, right? You were going to let everybody know that this is the last Homestuck podcast.
What?
And that next week you would be switching over to an all Doctor Who format.
Oh, God, no.
It's going to be Super Who Lock, the Wheel fandom. The Wheel fandom.
Crossover ever coming.
Yeah.
There's an upcoming one where they're in, like, the 1800s. Definitely time travel involved.
Rest assured, Homestuck will continue as long as Andrew Hussey strings us along.
Have you seen the costume Sherlock's wearing? He's in like the 1800s. The only way to get there is with the TARDIS. It's the only way.
It's the only way.
He's not doing a play or a Renaissance fair. He got the TARDIS.
It's the only explanation. The time traveling, the doctor, it all makes sense.
What do trolls eat?
Have they ever said?
No.
Gamzee eats pies, but they're really bad for him.
Carcat, since he's the only character who hasn't gone God to and has to eat, he flies some mosquitoes, doesn't he, on Jade's planet?
No, mosquitoes. They're
Butterflies.
Hummingbirds. Hummingbirds. It was only a year and a half ago. How are you forgetting already?
I didn't read all those updates. I read
Yeah.
all up to
Carcat
that.
spears some hummingbirds and roasts them over a fire. So they eat meat, we know that. And sugar.
Nepeta eats meat.
Yeah, sugar is the same effect as alcohol and drugs. They can't
Yeah.
have much sugar.
All we know is that Carcat gets hungry, so he flies some hummingbirds. And when Equius yells at Nepeta, she's wasting animals and is a poacher. She replies that she uses them all. She eats the raw meat and
Yeah.
hangs the
I would
forest for
assume
more.
that trolls
Lola.
mostly eat meat, except maybe Kanaya. I can see Kanaya because she spends all the day in the sun.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something that's never mattered.
Nope. Maybe Hive Swap. Hive Swap will
Swap
explain
will
it.
explain it
They're
all.
gonna go to some fast food troll place. I just
Yeah.
know it.
It's just gonna be McDonald's trolls.
No, it's Hussy. It's Taco Bell.
Taco Bell trolls.
Some product placement.
You know, see, it's a hemo spectrum. It goes from McDonald's to KFC
Yeah.
to Taco Bell. Taco Bell's only for high bloods.
And for the highest of the high, aboard the Condes's sip is a combination Taco Bell
The
of the
highest
pizza.
of the high. That
Yeah.
applies in real life too with Taco Bell.
Yeah. It's a combination Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
It's both in one, because the Condes's sip is
You're
wed,
at the
so
Pizza Hut. You're at the Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Are you at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell?
that's only for the Emphasis.
Yeah, that's where the high bloods go. They don't go on a quest to go there.
Yeah.
They take the quest of the high bloods to the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell.
Then they cry of Octopimp.
Then we all cry.
But the point is, what I'm trying to say here
What are you
is...
trying to say here?
Let me explain what I'm trying to say. Look, Hussy ran a little bit over budget because he spent all the Kickstarter money. So some product placement's really gonna help Autonia. Just a little bit of product placement. You're gonna have a big Applebee's. We're gonna have Taco Bell.
all fast food.
All fast food. What do you think? Like some product placement in there?
Yes.
Those-
Product placement would be great.
That 2.5 mil went fast.
You're like, we have to go to Boston Market, Vriska. No, I can't. I'm in my White Castle.
Just the White Castle unintentionally. He's not being paid to say that. Certainly not being paid.
Like if he peeks behind the fourth wall and there's like Donald Trump. He's like, watch The Apprentice. That's why we can't look. His hair.
Oh, grub sauce is a thing. Forgot about that.
Oh yeah, grub
Contact
sauce.
refers to grub sauce, which as far as we can tell is baby trolls grinded up and put on food.
Mmm, delicious. Any final words on this episode? Let's wrap it up.
Oh,
Hopefully we'll learn more about Troll Culture and Hive Swap.
We'll learn a lot. More than you can imagine. It's because he makes money off learning about troll culture.
Hey, look, I'm paying all my Steam money, all the virtual hats I've saved up to learn about
learn
what
about
fast...
culture.
No, specifically what fast food place they eat.
Oh yeah.
I gotta
that better
know.
be in the first act.
I gotta know, or else my virtual hats are being put to
We got
waste.
4 acts.
Put to waste.
We got 4 acts, and the first part seems pretty big. This is gonna be a big game.
So,
So I think there's room for some fast food.
hopefully
in
there'll
there.
be a fast food person with eating puzzle solving eating, you know?
Yeah. Some
gonna be-
little Diner Dash mini game thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, it's gonna be real nice.
Yeah, there's a whole level where you have to carry buckets.
Oh.
A whole level.
But I thought this game was gonna be kid friendly,
It
like
is.
Paradox Space.
They just won't mention it. It'll be for only you guys
Wait.
who know.
Will it be or not?
What?
The Hive Swap. What's its rating gonna be?
We don't know.
Well, who's he aiming this for?
New readers to Homestuck.
Yeah.
So I assume it's enough that you'd understand how mature Homestuck is going to be when you read it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be overly childish because then you go to the comic expecting it to be overly childish. It's going to be around the same level of Homestuck, just a little bit lighter for more audiences, but not
Now,
overly.
Imagine they put it on disc like they did the Telltale Back to the Future game. And you can have the double joy of going into Hot Topic and them not knowing why they're selling that shirt. And then hop over to GameStop where they go, home what? We have it right there. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
You want Skylanders? We have Skylanders.
The Kickstarter says there will be a disc version, and it'll be, as far as we know, it's Kickstarter exclusive. He hasn't announced how he's going to sell it yet. But supposedly the disc version of the game is going to include all of Homestuck on it,
Yeah.
which implies that the fourth
Yeah.
act of Hive Swap won't be out until Homestuck's over. Hive Swap's beginning this spring, and so is the final section of Homestuck. And Homestuck will end before Hive Swap 1. And if he doesn't meet that deadline, then there's going to be a lot of upset Kickstarter people without any game
Look,
discs.
I just went to the Kickstarter page. Do you know how many upset Kickstarter people there already were?
It's already a linear episodic game that you're not going to get on disc until you've already bought the digital version and played it.
Gotta get that money.
But it's going to have all of Homestuck on the disc, so that makes up for it. And so according to the Kickstarter, too, he's supposed to let everyone beta test it. That's never happened. There's never been any sort of beta test.
There is a demo.
For cons, and for press.
And for Casey Green.
And for Casey Green, according to the Twitter. But there's supposed to be a beta test, and it's already going to be out in a couple months, and there's no beta test.
How do you get on the beta list?
You give money to the Kickstarter.
Oh.
People paid money 2 years ago to get a beta test. That's not going to happen.
But we have a podcast. He should send it to us so we can review it.
Yeah.
Hey, we
GDC,
could, yeah.
if you email HiveSwap and you're attending GDC, they'll take a time to do a private little demo for your press.
Yeah, man. You want to do that?
I would. We would totally talk about it and review it and do a serious review. I would do it. How many Let's Plays of people who don't know what Homestuck is there going to be of this? Of gamers buying
I hope it
this?
catches on to weirdo YouTubers playing it.
Come on, John Tron.
I know you
Just
don't
kidding.
know.
Where's John Tron?
He's dead.
Quai?
3 months.
I feel like this game is attracting Quai.
PewDiePie.
No!
PewDiePie!
No!
No.
No! Let him never...
You want the Gantav shippers back? Is that what you want?
PewDiePie, Jack Vale, Greg Benson, Andrew
Benson.
Hale.
Greg
They're all
Benson.
playing it.
Oh.
Yeshman Blecken plays
Yeah.
HiveSwap. That's the game with the people. I'm a troll. I'm a troll. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. Any
All
final
right.
words this week?
I think that's all.
Thank you to all of our supporters around the world. The best way to support the show, what's the best way to support the show, Austin?
Patreon.
What if they don't have any money?
Well, just leave a review.
Leave a review on iTunes. It costs nothing. We're up to 31 reviews. We'd love to hit 50. Please help us hit 50 5-star reviews, because the more reviews that we get, the more chances we have of being featured on the homepage to get more listeners.
Reviews are literally the most important thing. More important than Patreon, actually. Reviews are more important than anything because they bump the podcast up, right?
That's correct. We will also be at WonderCon 2015 Easter weekend at the Anaheim Convention Center in California.
Yeah.
Look us up. We're going to have a Homestuck meetup, and we're going to hang out, and what are we going to do?
Do we plan on recording?
We might do a recording, yes.
And I'm going to try and figure out gray paint. I don't know what brand to get. I don't know what sealer to
You
use.
should have to see that alone.
Yes.
I have no idea. Literally.
We're going to get a can of gray spray paint.
No.
You will
no.
stand nude in the Esplanade.
No.
And we will
We're going to cut up some Sharpies, throw them in the bathtub,
Yes.
and have Austin bathe in it.
bathe in it.
I just need to do the face and some of the hands. I just don't know what sealer to use. I mean, obviously the choice is Snazaroo Light Gray at Michaels. And baby powder? Would baby powder really seal the Snazaroo at Michaels? Is that really going to work?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, everyone told me I needed this $50 Ben and I sealer and all these fancy stuff. And
Ben Nye.
Ben and I. Ben and I. I love Ben and I.
yeah.
That's a movie Walt Disney made about a guy and a mouse. Right? You know that movie?
No.
Me and Ben,
No.
where the mouse helps Ben Franklin invent all these things.
Franklin one.
Yeah.
No.
Ben Franklin didn't invent anything. This mouse did.
The mouse
before.
did. Takes all the friggin' credit. Ben's like,
1800s Ratatouille.
yeah, basically.
Huh. Okay.
Ben Tatooine.
Well, wish me luck as I research more gray paint and try and figure this out.
Okay, and thanks to everybody who's posting on Reddit that they like the shows. We appreciate every one of you. I am Jeff Tucker. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. Who are you?
Austin?
I'm Luna.
And together we are what?
91
Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?